Each heart, says Proverbs, knows its own grief. The text is in effect saying each heart knows its own grief, and it will be different to everybody else's grief. Some church leaders in Vancouver reminded Jill and me of this verse. And similarly, Proverbs describes death and destruction lie open before the Lord. How much more do human hearts? And in the book of 1 Kings we read, you alone know every human heart. Behind these three scriptures lies a simple truth. We can't put one approach, one scripture, one church response, one guarantee, or one set of behaviors or experiences on different individuals. It really can't work like that. Remember what we said just now? No one really understands the depths of grief unless it happens to them. For others, life just goes on whilst yours stops. No one other than Jesus himself can ever really know what the grief of another is truly like, what your grief and my grief is truly like. Let me share how one of my friends described it. She said, 3 years after being widowed, I continually remind married friends that someday this will happen to one of them. I tell them, you can't fully understand it till it happens how it will be. They don't always get it, but they know I'm here for them. I'll sit with them, hold them, talk if they want to, sit quiet if they don't. I've seen all kinds of reactions from my friends. So every journey of sorrow has its own unique map. And as we shall see, God's intent is to heal in his own unique way and in his own unique timetable for each unique journey of grief. That's why it's important we need to know. Our type of grief is valid, and we have permission, biblical permission, to mourn. And equally, we should never presume to know how others can deal or should deal with their pain. David Kessler, who I mentioned earlier, says this: there's no one right way to do grief. There's no map for grief. Grief is organic. You do it your way. There's no right way to grieve, just different ways. And I think that's helpful and true. A friend of mine, Roger Green, says the way a person grieves and mourns a death is unique to them. We should not compare ourselves and think we're failing in some way if we aren't grieving as society expects. People survive in different ways. Some people survive and find it helpful to talk. Others cannot handle words or sound. They need silence. Some need hugs. Some need long walks in solitude. Everyone who grieves deals with unimaginable pain in their own way, and everyone has permission to do just that, and can likely find in Scripture a reflection of others who've walked a similar path in a similar way. And everyone is entitled to do that without judgment. How does this manifest in practical ways? Jill and myself, in common with most couples, grieve very differently. I tend towards inward thinking, and I don't really want much sound or conversation. In fact, for me, conversation can often amplify the pain. In the early days, Jill found conversation with others a helpful part of processing. For me, it was the polar opposite. I found that conversations magnified the pain, didn't bring healing. They compounded the hurt. And I still prefer silence to sound or conversational engagement. Over the 7 years for us, it's ebbed and flows, but Jill thrives better on appropriate input or distraction. And in order to prevent her mind going to painful places, she likes to have TV, YouTube, worship, or anything playing. And of course, practically, these polar opposite tendencies are inevitably going to produce tensions. Understanding that it's not abnormal is a help in itself, and then, importantly, finding ways to dialogue it through, making room for each other's needs. If you found this helpful and want more, the book All About Grief can be found at davidoliverbooks.com. In the next episode, we explore why so many who grieve struggle with going to church and what to do about that. To make sure you don't miss that episode, can I encourage you, if you haven't done it, hit the subscribe button. Maybe give us a thumbs up so that others can find this content. If you've got any thoughts or questions, do comment on the video. And if you found it helpful, please do consider sharing the link with family or friends or neighbours.